Hey guys, if you're thinking about relocating permanently to Lake of the Ozarks and you have children, you're asking that question like, hey, is this a good place to raise your family? And you're asking that question no matter where you're moving to probably. So whether it's Lake of the Ozarks or the East Coast, the West Coast, it doesn't matter where you're moving to. If you have children, they're in school, you're asking those questions on like, is this a good place? Like, is this a smart decision? What does it look like to raise family here and kiddos and community and all of the things? And so we're clearly having those conversations when you're reaching out, right? We're talking about what to do around the lake and price points of homes and bedrooms and bathrooms and all those things. But at some point in time, if you have children, you're asking those questions on, hey man, what does this look like to raise kids? And what are the school districts like? And some of those other questions. So we came out back today and I want to shoot a quick little video because we just had this conversation with some folks the other day. I felt it was relevant to jump out and shoot a quick video and talk about that a little bit and give you some insight. Obviously, I always encourage you to call me, text me, and email me. I would love to have a one-on-one conversation with you. But if you're relocating or thinking about doing that permanently and you have children, so you're always kind of asking two main questions, right? It's about the school district and it's about safety. And so if you have children, your two school districts that you're going to be looking at, K through 12, are going to be the Osage Beach School District and the Camdenton School District. So when you look at those two areas, you're pretty much going to be up on the east side of the lake. So let's pull up a map real quick and let's figure out kind of where we are. When you're looking at the lake, you have Highway 54 that runs north and south on the east side of the lake. Okay, it goes all the way up to Jeff City. It goes all the way down through Camdenton. That's your main highway kind of artery that goes through the lake. And your Osage Beach School District is going to be on the north side of Highway 54 in the lake. And then the Camdenton School District is on the south side of Highway 54 and of the lake. And so depending on which of those school districts you like, you're going to want to try to strategically put yourself close to that school. So there will be tons of options. So when it comes to real estate, you're going to have a ton of options up and down Highway 54. But to figure out which school district is going to be the best one for you, like you're going to have to probably answer that question for yourself, right? And so obviously we would want to get you connected to both of those schools. You can reach out, call, have conversations, scroll their website. Obviously we encourage you to come into town. So when you come into town and we can show you around, you're probably going to want to set up a meeting, right? Or a tour of those schools. And so you firsthand can go and visit them, right? Walk around the schools, talk to the administration, ask any questions that you want to ask. But listen, you got two main choice options when it comes to schools, K through 12, Osage Beach and Camdenton. To be honest, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I think it's just going to be personal preference and how your experience goes and what direction your heart tells you that you should go. But you're going to have those main two school districts, K through 12. Explore them both, figure out which one's going to be best for you and your family. And then from there, you can strategically look at homes within relatively short distance, right? You're going to want to get a feel for what it's like to drive around and which side of the lake do we want to be on and all of the other things that come along with real estate and relocating. But first thing first, if you have those kiddos, explore those two school districts. Let's figure out which one's the best for you and your family. Outside of the school district, you're asking questions about crime and safety and all of those things. And we got to be careful on that. Like we can't very specifically dive into stats and tell you about crime in those areas. But what you can do is reach out to your local, police departments. You can Google and research a little bit more about crime. I personally feel like a lot of the crime is more just kind of petty crimes around here. Yeah, no matter where you go, no matter where you live, you're going to have something, right? But I just personally feel that where we're located and the type of crime that we kind of have, it's minimal, even though there is still crime, like it is still minimal, but you're going to want to explore that as well, right? So those two main topics and conversations are, hey, what's the school district's going to be like? What does crime and safety look like? We can easily get you connected and plug you into those two areas. So again, reach out, let us know. We'll get you connected to the Osage and Camdenton school districts, and then we'll give you some resources so you can research what does crime look like in some of those two communities and areas. So outside of school districts and crimes, right, we're also asking questions on like, what do we do? What are the sports and activities like? And do they have the same things that we have here that they have there? And I know like when we explored it, our kids were very into very specific sports, right? And my daughter liked to do cheer, my son was doing jujitsu, and like, do they have those things, and what does that look like? And again, you can explore that. Again, we can give you resources and get you connected to different platforms, but it's gonna have everything that every other place has. You might not have as much like competitive sports and outside school kind of sports, but you're going to have pretty much the majority of everything you're looking to do, right? So baseball and basketball and football, you have track, you got cheer, you have jiu-jitsu, you have all of the things that you would normally have in kind of like big cities. You're just probably not gonna have it on a club level or travel team level, something like that. So those could be kind of things to think about. If you have a star athlete that could go places, and do things in sports, then you might not want to kind of come down here. You're going to have all the activities. You're just not going to have it at like a super high level with, again, club type competition that you could have inside of like a major metropolitan city like Kansas City and St. Louis. And so that's another thought, that you are close enough to those big cities to where if you were traveling and you wanted to get up into those areas and have more things available or do more club sport levels or travel teams or something like that, you will have those options. They're just going to be a little bit further away. So that's just something to think about. Of, do you want it very specific local here to Lake of the Ozarks? Are you okay with extending out into the Kansas City or St. Louis area? Those are things, but you are going to have all of those major sports and events and kind of like activities that kids normally do on a normal basis. You're going to have all that stuff readily available here as well. So of course, on top of all of your kids sport activities, you're going to have your family activities too. So once we get kind of past the kids and what are the schools like and the safety and what are their activities going to look like, typically the conversation steers to like the family stuff too. So like, hey, as a family, like, what do you guys do and where do you go? And man, there's just a ton of stuff to do. And if you're thinking about relocating here and permanently moving your family, and I don't know where you are or what your story is, but we do talk to a lot of people that are in, bigger cities, right? Metropolitan city kind of stuff. And you have big city life. And a lot of the times when you're moving to the lake, you're moving for a different lifestyle. You want a little bit slower, a little bit calmer. You want lake life. And then that's a different pace than city life. And so when you're coming down to this area, there is so much stuff to do, especially for family, right? You can really spend some good quality time, right? Obviously you have everything lake life. So I don't care what kind of boat you have or what boating lifestyle you enjoy. You have that easy, readily available, whether you have a lakefront property where you're going directly right out back, or maybe you're off lake and you have to drive to it. Like, that's not a big deal either, but anything lake life and boating. So you got your skiing and surfing and tubing and all the activities with your kids. You can just go out and find a cove and drop anchor and float and bring lunch and hang out and spend time and listen to music and have fun. Clearly, if you're a fisherman, you can go out and fish and take your kiddos out in the morning or out in the evening. You can do those things, and you can just cruise, right? There's tons of people, my neighbors in general, right? They have their pontoon. I'm always seeing a group of people come walk down to their boat. They get on the boat. They're gone all day. So you're exploring the bars and the restaurants and the marinas and all of the commercial activity that's around this lake. You can just go and explore it with your friends. And so for sure, anything lake life is going to be fun for you and your family, your friends, all the activities. That's an easy one. But once you get off the lake, there's still tons of other stuff to do, right? You have the state parks, right? So that's a great thing for you and your family to go to the state parks and walk around and go hiking or biking or any of those kinds of things. That's an easy one to do. Camping, ATV and UTV type stuff off the lake, and trail riding and all those kinds of things. You can go and spend time with your family out there. There's the Lake of the Ozarks Speedway, which is just north of here. That's a lot of fun. I don't know if you like dirt track racing, but you can certainly go up to Lake of the Ozarks Speedways. You can find us there on Saturdays. That's a lot of fun. Golf courses, if you want to go golfing, you can do golfing. There's so many different activities that you and your family can do around the lake before you get into all of the like lake shows. So you got your boat shows and car shows, bike fest, you have like the shootout, you have so many other like family activities and things and events that are happening around the lake that you can easily go and get plugged into those forums so you know when those are happening. You got the Lake of the Ozarks amphitheater, so if you want to go check out a concert or a show, there's tons of activities. And if you want to reach out to me and let me know what that looks like, I have a whole thing kind of listed out that I can easily just email to you. I can send it over and you can check out all the things to do around the lake. So of course, you're moving down here with your family, you want lake life activities, but I promise you there's plenty of things to do off the water as well. So outside of the school districts and crime and lake life and off lake activities, a lot of times you're asking about other people around the lake and tell me about the culture, the community, or other things. And you know, that's an easy one to do, and especially when you come down and visit, you'll experience that just by walking around the grocery stores or going into the restaurants or any of those kinds of things. You're choosing to come down to an area and be around people that enjoy the same things that you do. So it's easy to plug in, find your people, find community, find fellowship, whatever it is that you're looking for, especially if you have kiddos, right? So like we all know as parents, like sometimes the easiest way to make friends and find your people is through your children and through school. That's an easy one, right? So going to kids' schools and, you know, getting involved in their activities. Obviously, you're going to meet some parents along the way and some people. But even outside of schools, right? If you're just around town and you're in the marinas or on your boat or you're at the restaurants or something, you're doing it around a group of people that are all here for the same reasons you are, right? They love lake life. They like to live a little bit more remote, country, slower pace. Like all of the things that you're looking for is the same reason why people live here. So it is easy to find your people, build roots, build community. That's a big component down here, especially in a seasonal environment. So one of the drawbacks and maybe downsides to permanently moving here is just that. If you're used to a lot of hustle and bustle and gotta go here and big city type stuff, you're gonna have to like ease into the brakes a little bit. You're gonna have to kind of like pump the brakes and reprogram your brain a little bit because it is a little bit of a slower pace, especially in the off season, right? So this is a tourism area. You're gonna have your peak season from Memorial Day to Labor Day. And after Labor Day, once you get kind of past October, things absolutely slow down. A large group or a large population are here for the summer and then they're gone for the winter. And so you'll see a lot more locals, number one, during the winter time. So when you're down here off season, you're for sure seeing a lot more locals, but then it does slow down even more. So you got to get kind of used to that and reprogram your brain a little bit. But during the off season, some of your favorite lakeside restaurants possibly are going to shut down, right? There's just not enough business for all of these lakeside restaurants to stay open. So that's a negative. Some of the other activities and attractions might shut down, or they might limit their hours or cut their days. That could be a thing, but you're for sure choosing lake life and a different lifestyle, but you also have to understand that it is a little bit slower, a little bit quieter. It's a different pace of life, and also a pro, con. I don't really know where that one falls, but it is definitely different, especially if you're coming from a big city. This one's gonna have for sure a different feel and vibe. You know, and I'd say the last thing on top of all of those other topics is really we talk about a lot, which is the cost and affordability. And you're relocating, you're moving your family. Hey, is it affordable? And if you're trying to live lake life at one of the best lakes in the country and you want to do it affordably, you can 1000% do that. To have lakefront property with a dock out back, your boat, your lifestyle, do that in an affordable, below national average price point. That's slam dunk, hands down, absolutely doable. You can also step off the lake a little bit. So just go to a second tier home, a third tier home. The affordability of that gets so much better. You obviously have big views of the water, so you're not losing lake life. Yeah, you might not have it directly out back, but there are a lot of benefits with a little bit more elbow space, probably a little bit more property, stepping off the lake a little bit more affordability. And then you got the surrounding areas as well. So if you don't want to live directly on the water, there is a ton of affordable options, probably gonna have some type of acreage. So everything here is just big lots and a lot of space and a lot of acres, where if you go major cities, you're looking at tiny little lots and neighbors all over the place and you're crammed into subdivisions. That's going to be different here. But when you do it here, affordability is a big topic of conversation. You're going to be below the national average when it comes to price point of home. For sure, finding lakefront options with your dock and doing that in an affordable manner is a slam dunk. We would love to put you on a home search for that. Of course, once you step off the lake, man, there's tons of options. So yeah, when you're reaching out and we're talking about the area and different things, and especially right for the purpose of this video, if you have children and kiddos in school, hey, let's check out the school districts. Osage Beach and Camdenton are the two main school districts. Explore those, take a tour, get plugged in. We can send you some resources. For sure, come into town, walk around and see how you feel. Based off of how you feel, obviously we're gonna wanna strategically set up your home search for those areas of town. Hey, if crime is a big thing, reach out, let us know. We'll plug you into some forums and get you connected so you can do some research on crime. There's tons of activities, obviously lake life activities, off-lake activities for your kiddos. There's plenty of things for your children to do when they're here, especially if they're into sports. Yeah, you're gonna have more school sports than like club and travel teams, but you do have those up in the bigger cities. Tons of family fun, friendly activities that you can do here. So your lake life activities, of course, 1000% you're gonna have fun with that, but there's a ton of off-lake activities that you could do as well. We can plug you into all of those things, and to do all of this lake life at a different pace, with a different community of people, to do it affordably, pretty rare thing to find that around the country. And what we feel is probably the best lake in the country. It's big, it's a ton of options. It's going to be eye-opening if you've never been here before and you haven't seen it or driven around it or been out on the water. Man, again, I highly encourage you. Call, text, email me, ask me any question you want to, but please come into town so we can show you around, get you out on the water, drive you around town, whatever that looks like. Plug you in the best that we possibly can. You can do that. We can get you set up on a home search. It's very affordable, right, to find the right property that you're looking for the lifestyle that you want. So, hey, I love shooting these videos. I love even more to connect with you, answer all your questions, and to be a resource. So again, call, text, email me. Let me know what I can do to help you out. Until then, we'll see you guys on the next video.